going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I am JD from New York, bringing you guys the latest in WWE news and rumors. I'll be live tonight with AEW Dynamite, covering Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho, plus the big title match between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. I will be live tonight on YouTube. Make sure you guys have your notifications set and you are subscribed to the channel. Backstage news and updates on Raw Underground, which was absolutely terrible, by the way. I don't give a shit what the ratings say. The ratings mean nothing in this instance. And if you agree that Raw Underground is fresh and exciting and new and it's something different, then you are the core of WWE's problems. Backstage news and updates on Raw Underground and the new WWE Faction that was supposed to debut but kinda debuted, not really debuted, on Monday Night Raw. They have a new name, and I'm going to talk about who I think it is. So Monday's episode of Raw was one of the most bizarre episodes of Monday Night. In my honest opinion, I thought it was one of the worst shows of the entire year. And one of the key things to happen on Monday was the introduction of Raw Underground, which was spearheaded by Shane McMahon. This concept has the community divided. Now, Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp have reported some interesting pieces of information that have come from the backstage in WWE during the last set of the Monday Night Raw tapings about this new concept. He says, and I quote, "As of midnight Eastern on Monday, WWE was still filming content for next week's Raw Underground. We are told that there were other hosts besides Shane McMahon suggested, and the Underground name had been thrown around for other projects in the past years. Much of the main roster had no idea what was even being filmed on Monday." I find that to be quite interesting. The Underground name had been thrown around for other projects in the years prior to this concept debuting on Monday. I'm assuming that had to do with the Lucha Underground and the way that they filmed that show from the temple, the grittiness of it, the dark, raw feel of that show. I'm assuming that had a lot of influence on what WWE did with this Raw Underground. That's just my personal opinion. Sapp is also reporting that WWE decided to reveal a new stable that was going to debut on Raw Monday. Not really, but kind of. And this came from Pro Wrestling Sheet earlier in the day on Monday. WWE's social media team also jumped the gun on tonight's Faction news after word of the new team leaked on Pro Wrestling Sheet. So WWE jumped the gun on this, and obviously with the news out there, I figured they tried to generate a cheap rating. But in actuality, WWE didn't want this out there, and it was a mistake by somebody on the social media team, and then they scaled it back on Monday, which I assume they'll probably pick it up next week, and we'll see more heavier influence from this group on the Monday Night Raw following SummerSlam. WWE has actually also revealed the new name of this faction that was briefly seen on Monday Night Raw, and they took out a generator, if you guys were watching, throwing Molotov cocktails at a generator that fucked with the power and the microphones on Monday Night Raw. They will be known as Retribution. WWE actually put out a tweet about this new group. Now, it was implied that Retribution was behind the glitches on the show where the microphones were going out, production equipment was knocked over, lights going on and off in the middle of a United States Championship match between Apollo and MVP. According to WWE.com, not much is known about the faction except that they are motivated by causing chaos. Now, the storyline will continue next week on Raw as WWE hopes to continue building their viewership to gain back some of the fans that may have tuned out during the pandemic. It's going to take more than a group called Retribution to get a lot of people back watching the show. Now, I do want to show you guys something very interesting. It may be something, it may not be anything at all. But I want to show you a tweet by Candice LeRae. Yes, Johnny Gargano's Candice LeRae. She said this on Twitter. Once upon a time, I had a wonderful friend. Yet, if it wasn't for this friend getting involved in my business, I would have pinned EO last Wednesday. I should be #1 contender. My jealous friend took that opportunity away from me. Hashtag overlooked. Hashtag underappreciated. Now, I wanted to bring this to your attention. It could be something. It might not be anything at all. But I want you guys to think about who on WWE TV right now, especially Wednesday, that's not being used the way you think they should be used on NXT television. I want you to think of everybody in the company that may be frustrated, disgruntled, overlooked, misused, etc., etc. I think Candice LeRae would fall into that. They just turned her heel. She's the poison pixie. She's looking for trouble. Johnny Gargano has been on this thing. He's just looking for trouble. He wants to create NXT in his own image. Does that mean chaos? Maybe they got Tommaso Ciampa with them. He's been known to cause chaos himself. He's not being used on TV right now. And if you guys want to go look at his Twitter wall, he deleted everything and blacked out his Twitter. Another person that did that is Dominik Dijakovic. He don't even have a profile picture on his Twitter account. He deleted his entire Twitter feed. Nothing is there for anybody to look at. Why? They may be a part of this new Retribution faction. Tommaso Ciampa, he just lost to Karrion Kross at TakeOver in Your House. He's looking for a comeback. Dominik Dijakovic, he wants to make an impact. I don't know if this is legit or not, or if I'm going anywhere with this, but I want you guys to pay close attention to Dominik Dijakovic, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Candice LeRae. There could be another one involved. I don't know who that might be. But Johnny Gargano isn't factored into anything at TakeOver. Candice LeRae is not involved in anything TakeOver. Tommaso Ciampa is not involved in anything TakeOver. Has Tommaso Ciampa changed his tune on joining the main roster? Might as well. They're operating out of the same building. So why not? If it injects some freshness into the show, so be it. But I want you guys to pay close attention to these specific individuals. I was also thinking about maybe Ricochet, Ali, Cedric Alexander. Maybe they have something to do with it because they fit right into this overlooked and underappreciated mentality. So we will definitely figure out what is going on in the weeks to come. I did not think it was going to be the Undisputed Era. And the reason why I don't think it's the Undisputed Era is because why would you conceal the Undisputed Era under masks? If they want to show up and they want to cause chaos, they will do it. They don't need to hide behind masks. You don't need to put Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong behind masks. You're just going to trot them out on television, and they are going to tell you exactly what we've heard for 3 years, why they're exactly undisputed. They don't need to hide and cower in the shadows. So it's going to be very interesting. Is WWE going to get a ratings jump with this new Retribution faction? I'll keep you guys posted on everything and who might be rumored for this new group on Monday Night Raw. Speaking of NXT and disgruntled, NXT superstars set to debut on SmackDown this Friday. There's been a change to the plans. What else is fucking new in WWE? For SmackDown's tapings this week in Orlando at the Performance Center. Over the past few months, WWE has been taping 2 episodes of its weekly television shows on Fox and on USA back-to-back days in double tapings. Coming into yesterday's tapings, the belief that the schedule would remain the same, as an episode would be taped for this Friday and another episode for next week. However, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has been able to confirm that WWE will be taping 1 episode of SmackDown and only 1 episode of 205 Live as of Tuesday. It was also noted that both Danny Burch and Killian Dane were set for the tapings in conjunction with a storyline with Baron Corbin. Sapp added that he wasn't sure whether these NXT stars would actually appear as originally planned due to the delays. As noted, it was described as a chaotic setting on Monday's Raw during the TV tapings. Several rewrites happened. Vince McMahon only approved 2 segments out of 30 pitched to him for the tapings on Monday. Gary Cassidy of Sportskeeda Also heard that WWE made a change to the SmackDown taping schedule and passed along some details. He says this, and I quote, "I'm told today's SmackDown taping schedule has changed. Instead of taping 2 episodes, apparently only 1 will be taped as of Tuesday." Danny Burch, I don't know how he fits into the Baron Corbin storyline. I would assume he's probably going to end up on 205 Live. I do believe he's made some appearances on 205 Live. Killian Dane, on the other hand, ex-SmackDown superstar, while Sanity was there, they moved him back down to NXT because he wanted out because of the way WWE absolutely dismantled Sanity, so they sent him back down to NXT to kind of be repackaged. I could see him coming back to SmackDown for 1 appearance only and go up against Matt Riddle as far as King Corbin's King's Ransom storyline is concerned. We'll pay close attention to that on Friday, and obviously we'll talk about it on the podcast come Friday night when I cover SmackDown right here on Off the Script. In one of the biggest stories to come out in sports this week, and I guess you can say the WWE, because Vince McMahon was the former owner and now is not the owner anymore. Vince McMahon no longer owns the XFL. It now belongs to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne Johnson purchases the XFL for $15 million. Sportico reports that the XFL has been sold to a group that includes The Rock. Dwayne Johnson joined Jerry Cardinal's Redbird Capital to buy the XFL for $15 million. This happened hours prior to an auction that was set for the XFL. Johnson, obviously the highest paid actor in Hollywood, a producer in Hollywood as well, played college football at the University of Miami, teamed up with Redbird Capital to buy the league just hours before a planned auction was scheduled to begin. It is reported that the $15 million price tag was split evenly, and Dwayne Johnson's ex-wife, Dany Garcia, is also a stakeholder. Redbird Capital has made sports-related investments before, including having some ties in the XFL. Dwayne Johnson said this on Twitter: "With my trailblazing partner, Dany Garcia and Redbird Capital, we have acquired the XFL with gratitude and passion. I've built a career with my own 2 hands and will apply these calluses to our XFL 2020 brand. Excited to create something special for the fans." End quote. Of all people, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a WWE Hall of Famer, may be the biggest WWE superstar in the history of that company. Dwayne Johnson, out of everyone, went to go and purchase the XFL for $15 million, and you mean to tell me that Vince McMahon has nothing to do with this XFL sale to Dwayne Johnson and his partners for $15 million? Give me a break. If you don't think that Vince McMahon has anything to do with this situation, you may be as dumb as I think the entire community really is on a daily basis. This is what they call stalking horse. The definition of stalking horse is this: a false pretext concealing someone's real intentions. What is Dwayne Johnson's real intentions? Does he love football? Absolutely. Does he love the sport? Absolutely. Does he have football running through his blood, through his veins? Absolutely. Does he want to entertain people? Always. But what is his real intention? Saving the company for Vince McMahon, who he will obviously owe his life to. He gave The Rock, Vince McMahon did, the opportunity to be The Rock. His platform was the WWE. Dwayne Johnson owes that man his life. Plus his family. I mean, he comes from a obvious royal family, but you guys get my point. He obviously did this with Vince McMahon in mind. Vince McMahon, no question, is still a part of the XFL, and I would not be surprised if that is the case. Now, Dana White, yes, UFC's Dana White, had some advice for Dwayne Johnson going on and purchasing the XFL. Dwayne Johnson obviously is going to do what he wants to do, but Dana White feels like he has some good advice for The Rock. As he was interviewed on TMZ Sports, he said this, roll it.
Your buddy, The Rock, just bought the XFL for $15 million. You know how tough it can be to run a sports organization. What advice do you have for a guy like The Rock?
First of all, timing is everything, right?
Right.
Timing is everything. He bought this thing for $15 million, right?
Right.
That's less than that's a beach house for him, okay? He's backed by a real company. You know, these guys have like $4 billion in management capital, right?
Right.
Then you have all these multi-millionaire athletes that don't want to play right now, right? All these guys that don't want to play, they want to sit out, don't want to stay in a bubble, don't want to do what it takes. Don't be surprised if The Rock slides right into that spot with some great programming, man. Because let me tell you what, people are dying to watch live sports right now. Dying to watch live sports. And cornhole is getting good ratings. Cornhole is getting good ratings. And I'm not knocking cornhole. Just saying, you know, go back 6-8 months ago and try to put cornhole on ESPN.
Right. Right.
Against all the other programming that ESPN has. People are watching that, you know. Masvidal is playing in it this week.
Against the
Masvidal is playing like the champion or something like that. I don't know all the ins and outs, but yeah.
So
don't be surprised if The Rock turns this into a real thing. If I was The Rock, I'd get that rolling as fast as I could. I'd try to get that on TV ASAP.
That's great.
I guarantee you there's a ton of networks that'll do it, that'll give it a try right now. They're dying for live sports programming. I'm actually going to call him today and going to walk him through what I think he needs to do on the COVID side of this thing.
Right.
And I have some ideas for him. He's a guy that'll actually fucking listen to me. All these other egomaniacs know what they're doing. But, you know, I agree with you. He can definitely pull this off right now. Timing is everything. And right now is the time to go. I mean, even if the NFL does go, it's still another option for live sports on TV. And there's not enough on right now.
I didn't even know cornhole was on ESPN. That's pretty damn interesting. You know who's a damn good cornhole player? Right here. Get me a couple of cold beverages and we'll be good to go, man. Speaking of The Rock and his relations and his family, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is back on WWE television. The big dog is back in the WWE. Well, not really. Not really. He could stay out as long as he wants. But granted, he's probably the smartest man in all of WWE right now. And I know he's going to come back and things are going to pick up right where he left off. Don't worry about it. But if you miss Roman Reigns on WWE TV, you could see him on Tuesday, which right now it's Wednesday, so that means yesterday, on the WWE Network on the R-Truth game show. So he was on R-Truth's game show Tuesday. The other contestant was Drake Maverick. I don't even know what the game show's about. I don't really care. While it seems we may have to wait a little bit longer to see Roman Reigns legitimately on television, if you miss him that much, you can go and watch him and R-Truth funny it up on the WWE Network. Speaking of funny, Vince McMahon wants fans in attendance at SummerSlam. How likely that is, I don't know, but I've been on this story for weeks about where SummerSlam is going to be, what state it's going to be in. Will it be in the PC? Will it be somewhere on the Northeast? Will there be fans? Will it be a SummerSlam that we are proud of, or will it be a Summer Scam? I don't know, man. So many questions, so little time. But WWE may have found a location for SummerSlam, and if Dave Meltzer has any indication on it, we may be getting SummerSlam in New Jersey. New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey, to be exact. According to a new report on Wrestling Observer Live, the company seems to be looking at Atlantic City, New Jersey as a possible location for SummerSlam. A social distancing event might have around 2,000 tickets for WWE to sell. That amount of tickets would sell out in no time, even on short notice for SummerSlam. It was also noted that the company might not sell tickets at all, and they could be given out to friends and family in that area to fill SummerSlam in an outside venue. There are a lot of dedicated WWE fans in New York and New Jersey, so the drive from New York is probably 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes to get to Atlantic City. The company has fans who have followed them to WrestleMania, Madison Square Garden, and beyond. So doing a show on the beach or at a casino, outside a casino in Atlantic City, might not be that bad of an idea. We'll have to wait and see if these plans are actually legit, according to Dave Meltzer. I don't know how likely that is. I do know that Beyond Wrestling and GCW have shows that SummerSlam weekend. I do know that Joey Janela and GCW run outside the Showboat Casino or the Showboat Hotel outside. They drew a pretty decent crowd last time that they were here. They're coming back. Beyond Wrestling, I don't know where they're going to be SummerSlam weekend, but if WWE has any plans to do Atlantic City, I think that's a great idea. The only thing stopping them is Governor Murphy. So I don't know what he's going to be able to allow WWE to do. His restrictions have been really nauseating and really strict to a point where there's been protests, there's been marches for masks and, free New Jersey. People are pissed at the way Governor Murphy has handled this lockdown and this pandemic. So I don't know what WWE is going to be able to do. But Atlantic City, New Jersey, man, if that's the case, meet and greet, cold beverages, and WWE talk right here on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, man. Can't wait to see it. I hope it happens. I got to give Vince McMahon credit. If he can pull it off, good for him. But I still think that WWE will be running out of the Performance Center in Orlando for SummerSlam. And if not, if they do want an outside venue away from Florida, I say Stamford, Connecticut, Titan Tower, the roof of the WWE headquarters, will be the home of SummerSlam 2020. Do you guys remember Antonio, who spent $431 to ask Alexa Bliss out on a date because she had a Cameo account, and he figured, let me spend the money to ask Alexa Bliss out on a date. Maybe she'll say yes. What a fucking geek. What a geek, Antonio, you fucking clown. If you thought Antonio was bad. Look at these fucking geeks, man. There are a bunch of idiots on social media that actually started a petition for Alexa Bliss after Bray Wyatt on SmackDown gave her the mandible claw. Yes, this is serious, folks. This is actually legit information. I would not be reporting on it if it wasn't in the news. Look at this shit. Are you fucking serious? We had over 160 people legitimately sign this fucking embarrassing garbage. Oh my God, man. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I really don't even know what to say. Oh my God. On the July 31st edition of SmackDown, our hero, Alexa Bliss, was assaulted by a thug named Bray Wyatt. The reason for this is to see the criminal is brought to justice. Please sign this to see our queen gets the justice she deserves. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? This goes to show everybody. This is undoubtedly the biggest piece of evidence that there will ever exist. The Alexa Bliss fan base is the dumbest fucking group of people known to all of humankind, then, now, and forever. Justice for Alexa Bliss. How about justice for us on social media? Social media and Twitter would be much better off without each and every single one of you. Forever. It's a fucking storyline, you goddamn fucking idiots, you geeks out there. She's in a storyline to bring Braun Strowman back to television. I don't know if you watched the Swamp Fight, but she played a big factor in the Swamp Fight, being in Braun Strowman's fantasies, right? Fantasies that you'll never be a part of. Maybe with your blow-up doll, but not with Lexa Kaufman, Lexa. This is a way to bring Braun Strowman back to television. Maybe she wants time off. Maybe she wanted to be in the Mandible Claw. Maybe she's going away for a little bit, taking a little bit of a vacation for the summer months. Who knows? Who knows? Or better yet, maybe this turns her heel. Because Bray Wyatt used the hurt glove on Alexa Bliss. Everybody thinking, oh my God, Nikki Cross shoved Alexa Bliss down. She's definitely going heel. That's too easy, folks. That's too easy. It's too simple for the mind of Bray Wyatt. It may be Nikki Cross, still the babyface, just frustrated, and Alexa Bliss now turning evil because of what Bray Wyatt did to her, and she turns heel. Justice for Alexa Bliss, folks. Justice for Alexa Bliss, because fuck pro wrestling. These geeks think everything is actually legitimate. Unreal. If you ever come on here and say that I am an idiot or I don't make sense or I'm dumb, look at these fucking people, man. Look at these people. It's not even funny how stupid they are. And finally, guys, WWE had plans for a 2020 draft after SummerSlam. Rumors are circulating that we may get a draft on the 1-year anniversary of SmackDown being on Fox. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reports that a planned WWE draft has changed several times. In addition to the draft, WWE had plans to run live shows with limited fans in attendance in July. They were obviously scrapped in June. Plans for a draft were also scrapped. Per the report, a draft had been originally slated to take place at the end of August after SummerSlam, before then delaying it to September and then later moved to October. I'm assuming it will be on the 1-year anniversary of Fox and SmackDown. The date for the draft had gone back and forth to a point where there's no word yet on what the current plan for the draft is. That includes if it will take place, what brands are involved, or what the format is, because plans have changed numerous times. Plans for a draft. How is it going to be? What's the format going to be? WWE has no creativity whatsoever, so if you are thinking that they're going to go full-on draft and give you something better than they did last year, you may be as dumb as the Alexa Bliss fan base. He says, and I quote, does Sean Ross Sapp, a draft was originally set for the end of August before being moved to September. After it was set for September, it was moved to October, and then back and forth again. The original source that we heard the story from in June had noted that WWE had informed some broadcast partners of both draft plans and live events, the latter of which was nixed completely, end quote. A source told the media outlet back in June that WWE had informed some broadcast partners of both draft plans and live events, and obviously that was changed. We heard this time and time again. This is nothing new. It was added that there are no current plans to end the brand split. The reason for WWE not being allowed to hold shows with fans in attendance again is due to the spikes of cases of COVID-19. If there's anything that this company needs right now for Raw and SmackDown, it is absolutely a draft. Do you realize that when they did the last draft, Monday Night Raw remained unchanged? They did not look any different than the year before that. SmackDown looked a little bit different. So for the most part, in my eyes, these rosters have been operating with the same roster for 2 years now. And if you want to know why WWE television sucks so badly, yes, the creative is terrible. Yes, they don't know what the fuck that they're doing. But the rosters have not changed. How many times are we going to get rinse and repeat every single week? When you have a roster that's not been changed for 2 years, yes, you're going to see things over and over and over and over again, and as if you're watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown on repeat. No matter if you call up a Matt Riddle here or bring a Mustafa Ali over there and whatever the fucking case you may be, it doesn't work. WWE needs a complete fucking overhaul of everything. Merge the women's divisions, merge the tag team divisions, make a heavyweight and a mid-card division stand out. Divisions matter. Please. WWE wants to take the brand split seriously. Then they really need to take the brand split seriously in every aspect. It's just not separate rosters. It's just not Raw and SmackDown. It's got to be taken seriously as if you're running a fucking legit team here. Include NXT in the draft. Include NXT UK in the draft. Include 205 Live in the draft. Make it fun. You have the resources to build something great and interesting for people who may not be watching the show, so do it. It's not that difficult, folks. Be creative. So, I don't know what's happening with that. I wanted to include it here because there really isn't much going on. If we have any more information, you guys will find out about the draft on OTS on the weekend. Guys, thank you so very much for all your support. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Go and get your JD's NEGAN t-shirt right now. Link down below in the description. Bonfire.com. We sold over 35 so far. Let's keep it going. 35 in 2 days, that's pretty damn good, man. So let's keep it going. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at JD206, and I'll see you tonight live. Maybe with Jesse, maybe without Jesse. Gonna miss him. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But follow me on Twitter for all the updates. I'll be live tonight on YouTube, on Off the Script with Dynamite. See you guys then. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you tonight for AEW.